Alright guys, another episode of Master Son. Today with my friend Tom Gobeil. It's okay?
Yeah.
Gobeil.
Yeah. It's probably as good as you're going to get.
How you say it?
It's so in French, it's a French name, so it's Gobeil.
Gobeil.
But in English, it's harder to say. It's Gobeil.
But what the fuck? How the fuck do you communicate each other in Canada? Because I know you're opinion there. French, English, what the fuck? What is it?
Well, I come from I'm French Canadian, so I come from Montreal. In Montreal, in the city of Montreal, there's a lot of English people.
Right.
But I'm from the South Shore, so the area where we speak French or a slang of French.
There is also Chinese people in Canada, right? I hear that one wrong.
Are we gonna get it? Like, you really want to talk about that and get me in trouble?
Well, you're gonna get in trouble if you're a hockey player, right? Tough as a name.
Right.
So if there is people, I respect all the sports, all right? I like all the sports. I'm an athlete. I used to play soccer and do when I'm Argentinian, you know? And I am in the combat sport. But if there is a sport that I respect and I admire are the hockey players. I see the trainer is so fucking tough, okay? And I know that how hardcore it is that people die playing that shit. I think a month ago, a guy died he was hit by the...
Yeah, in Europe, he was hit by a skate. Fuck. So, and he died afterwards.
It's fucking tough. But today we're not going to talk about hockey. We're going to do another episode because Tom here is a pro hockey player. He's going to bring some friends from Canada who play on the NHL and somewhere else. Today I'm going to talk about the other part, okay? I always very, with my people, with my fighters, I also very focused on the psychological part of the sport, okay? Some people say, no, the fighter you have a good IQ for fighting. That is the intelligence that you have. But there is another part that there are people every day. People is more involved about that. That is the emotional intelligence, right, Tom?
Yes.
So how that helps to the athlete to deal with the pressure, to deal the competition, to deal with the injuries, and much more. So Tom today is gonna explain a little bit how to be. We can stay talking about this for hours, but he's gonna give you some idea how the emotional intelligence or how to work to develop that part, right?
Yeah. Well, any athlete who's really committed to his sport, right? It's not just it's not something that you do only when you're either fighting on the ice or on the football field. Like, when you're committed to your sport, it becomes your life, right? And so the way you eat, the way you sleep, your lifestyle revolves around your sport. And what that does is you always have your sport in the back of your mind. So the way you think and also the way you feel influences your performance. So that was definitely the case with me is I was a very committed kid to my sports early on. And one of the hardships that I've had playing hockey was that aspect that wasn't talked about much back then. It's starting to become more normal,
right?
To integrate the training of, training yourself to become a better manager of your emotions, because it's becoming more talked about that the emotional aspect for performance is very important, because when it comes down to elite sports, you're not always required to perform at your best. Meaning, for a fighter example, you'll be training
right,
for one fight that will last a few minutes. So then you also have to train yourself to be able to turn yourself on,
right,
and block out the noise and be able to focus on what you got to do without being influenced by external distractions,
right,
or the pressure, or the stress that comes with, the fight or whatever elite sport you're playing.
So I remember one day I was watching. I used to watch tennis, and I like tennis, and I was watching a game from Roger Federer, right?
Yeah.
And he was down. I don't know for how many sets down. Like, he was losing the game, right? And I was looking at his face, nothing, zero, no expression, nothing. And he was calm, quiet. He went to the bench, sit down, washed his face, came back to the field, and you see his face that he's gonna win, and he won. He changed it.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, I was trying to figure out what the fuck is happening inside his head, right? To turn that thing, the bad,
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
good.
I'm so glad you mentioned him. He's one of the icons of sports. You know, who was a master of that.
Right.
You could always feel, no matter what the score was, that he would remain calm, and that's I would say that's a good example of mastering your emotions.
Right.
It when you watched him play, and what you just described is like, no matter where he was on the score sheet, or no matter the pressure of the situation, he always remained calm. And that's the thing with emotions is we can learn and train ourselves to program our bodies to allow us to experience the emotions that actually help us achieve
Right.
what we want to do. And by remaining calm, we're this is also something we have to train at. You know, remaining calm in tough situations or in situations under pressure.
Right.
And that allows him then to just keep the same motion, to not become rigid, because tennis is like any other sports, like fighting, like anything
Right,
else.
right, right.
You know, it's you've done the same freaking movement, you've repeated it thousands and thousands of times. So what's gonna change while you're at a high stake?
Yeah, and if you're
game
not
moment?
ready, your head playing against you.
Yeah,
I think it's your number one enemy.
yeah,
Okay, so
100%.
I always tell to my people, your body reacts in different ways. So that's how you see the amateur fighters. The fights are sometimes horrible, throwing punch like that and no controlling, don't listen in the corner. And you see the pros when they are fighting, it's like they are enjoying. They're talking with the guy, they talk each other. The guy is punching, and he's looking at the corner and communicating with the corner. That's a level of control of the brain that takes years to, I think, take years to develop, and is something that you don't learn from one day to other. You have to experience that, and you have to go through shit to be able to manage that, right?
Yeah, I feel like it's something that needs to happen to you. You need to fall apart when the pressure gets to its highest point, in order to really be able to understand and feel where your weaknesses are.
Right.
You know, you need to be able to remain calm in those situations. You need to know yourself at a level where you know exactly what could distract you, and you train at that. So it's not enough to just train, you know, for a fighter example. It's not just enough to focus on your technique and your mechanics and the strategy. You also need to include in your training that emotional aspect.
Right.
To remain calm in the midst of everything. And there's so many ways to go about it. But yeah, like you said, you know, it's those people that we pay to watch on TV, those athletes, they're not just, you know, they're entertainers.
Right.
They're entertainers because we love watching them so much, because it's the culmination of everything they've trained for, plus their ability to put it all together in one moment.
Right.
And that is at the center of that is, you know, that emotional intelligence, that ability to manage all of the data around them, the data inside of them, and to be able to remain calm in all of it. And you can train at that.
I always give an example to my people. And when I was telling you the other day about the adrenaline, right? When that rush, that's something is organic, you know,
Yeah.
because it's in your body. I think, if I am not wrong, everything that is psychology or like the emotional intelligence we are talking is more neurologic than organic. I think that in certain situations, your body send hormones to activate different functions of the body. For example, when the adrenaline, you have that rush of adrenaline in your body because your brain started pushing that, is to keeping your heart rate higher, for being able to run faster in case of emergency. And you, like I told you, you sweat, not because you sweat to become slippery in case of someone grab you or an animal's grab you or whatever. But the people who went through things like that get used to, and they are able to manage the stress in other way. And that one's the part of the all the things that you are explaining, right? Mm-hmm. So you are in a car driving with the NASCAR driver, and you are gonna share it on your pants, and the guy is relaxed and talking with the team, watching the cars in front, behind, listening the engine of the car. So that's why, because they went through that thing, right? And they developed another way. So in terms of, for example, you have to go to play. you play team sports.
Yeah.
If you are not calm and you are not focused on the game, you can hear your partners because you have to go together. You have to communicate with each other, right? How the emotional intelligence work in terms of that?
Yeah, well, it's different when you're working as a team because the good teams, each individuals will kind of like, depending on their personalities and characters, they'll kind of balance each other out throughout the season.
Right.
Because when you play as a team, you're together every day. You play 80 games a season, and sometimes you've played with most of these guys even the years prior. So there's like this natural kind of aspect that comes like that establishes itself for a team. But yeah, no, like it's clear that the people that are going to be leaders on a team are the people that are able to, manage more responsibilities.
Right.
Those, and in the word responsibility, there's two words. There's response and there's ability.
Interesting.
And that's exactly what we're talking about. Do you have the ability to respond to a high-stake situation, stressful event, in a manner that you're able to conduct yourself to create the outcome that you want? And so when you're able to have on your team, for example, in hockey, when you're behind during a high-stake game and you have a captain or leaders on the team who are able to remain calm and you just feel around them that they're not fazed by anything, then it affects you in a positive way. And then if you're able to integrate that, then you affect the next guy. And so I think it's a little bit of the same thing in fighting, if you can correct me, but I think as a coach, you bring the technical aspect, you bring the strategy, you bring the planification before fight and everything, but also doesn't the athlete that you're training rely on you to keep that composure and to keep that calm?
Yeah, if you don't think this is correctly, you can fuck up his career.
Exactly. And if I'm not mistaken, sometimes you can even get, brought back to your center by your athlete.
Right.
You feed off each other. He trusts you and you trust him, and so basically anything that you do, we're talking about sports, but
military too. The leader is the one to support the team, and they follow you. Okay, I was in the service in the time that you have the leader, the sergeant, or whatever. In moments of stress, we have to work together. It's like a machine. Everybody do your part. As soon as one of the parts is falling, the team can collapse, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why the leader is important to stay there and control in case of something bad happen. But they're supposed to not talk each other and do the thing. So the same with the team, right? You spend so much time with them that you work. You know where the guy is gonna be without seeing him. But now let's go to the regular things in life, in your business or whatever. My dad used to tell me they're gonna pay you depending the amount of pressure that you can handle.
I love that.
Right?
I love that.
If you're a guy who can handle pressure, okay, you're gonna be an employee and get things. But if you get involved, and how you handle the pressure, controlling yourself and don't getting crazy, right? So how can you become better on that?
Yeah, well, let's take the example of a businessman. Like, what's a good businessman? It's most of the time it's somebody who's going to be able to sell what he's got to sell at the right time to bring in the resources that they need for the whole business, for the whole company, right? So it's the same thing. You'll be working on a project. You know what it is. Like, you've been working on this whole thing, this gym. The KO zone. It starts with an idea,
right?
And then you start implementing all of the actions to make it come to fruition, to make it real, right? And then comes the part where you need people to come in with their resources and transfer them into the gym.
Right.
And so it's the same thing when it comes down, for example, for me to be here and talk about all of this with you. For me, this is the culmination of everything I've trained for, everything I've studied. These moments where I'm able now to transfer and convey that information. Right. It's the same thing as when I played hockey. Am I able to remain calm? Am I able to enjoy this moment that could be, something that helps me in my business? A game could be in front of scouts,
Right.
I remember I would fall apart when I was a hockey player. and I knew that some NHL teams would be there and scouts would be there, and just I would have that in the back of my mind, and instead of being propelled by it, I would crumble because the pressure, I couldn't handle it. And that's why I got into this. And it's the same thing here is am I able to enjoy this moment, this conversation with you? Because that's why I'm doing it. You know, that's why I do what I do, is because I love it.
Right.
And it's the same thing for a fighter, for any athlete in any sports, for high achievers. Training yourself to be able to come together at the right time in order to create what you've been wanting for a while is just handling pressure. Is staying in your lane and showcasing your emotional intelligence.
How on this day that everybody, you know, like you say, catch me what you say about that we are entertainers, you know? You think we are not? No. It's like a Roman Coliseum, you know, it's entertainment, you know, even if they kill each other, the people go to get fun. How the emotional intelligence affects the athletes, for example, in their relationship with the family, with the fans, with the media, because now there is a lot of pressure on the media. You make one mistake. Before, it was pressure with the media, there also was pressure, but now it's more than ever. Mm-hmm. It's more than ever. So whatever you do, even in the field or outside the field, for example, you are a head of an athlete, you are great, you are the best in the team, but outside you become a role model for kids or whatever. So if you go outside and you are driving and you let your emotions get crazy and you have a car race or an incident and you have a problem that nobody film you, they destroy your career too.
Yeah, well, you become a brand.
Exactly.
You know, your performance allows you to bring you to the next level where your name or the person that you are is a brand. You know, you can sell the image of the athlete for the sport. And that's why, you know, you'll get brand deals with Nike, Adidas, and all those companies. Like, they want to be associated with the image of the athlete that, you know, trained his whole life and is able in the high stakes moment to deliver, right? So it is important. It is a crucial aspect, I think, for any athlete to be able to handle themselves outside of the ring, outside of the octagon or whatever it is. And you have to manage yourself as a brand. And the thing also, like, for example, the way you conduct yourself in a gym when you're fighting and training with your partners and your buddy, of course, you can't be talking exactly the same way when you're in front of the media. There's a certain composure that you need to have, and you can train at that as well. And so, yeah, the emotional intelligence is just being able to, as you speak, and depending on the situation, is your adaptive capacity, you know? And it always comes down to this one thing. Are you able to be in the moment, present enough inside of your body to just process the information that's here? That's all it is. Because your body will always provide you, your emotions are informations. That's it. If you're able to get acquainted with the range of emotions that a human can experience, and that's what's amazing about emotions is we all have the same range of emotions. Emotions are inherent. Okay, so they did these studies. They went to different tribes, you know, where they have never seen the light of civilization. And they were able to figure out and understand that they have the same emotions as us. So it's not true that we learn frustration. We don't learn emotions. Emotions are inherent. So what we have to do is to learn, be acquainted with all of the possible emotions that we can experience on a day-to-day basis in any situation, so that no matter the situation and the circumstances we find ourselves in, we're acquainted with it. If I start feeling, for example, you ask me a question, I start feeling pressured or uncomfortable with it. If I've already been in that situation where I'm uncomfortable with something that's coming at me, then my capacity to respond in a manner that's aligned with what I want to create will be just so much higher.
Right.
So for an athlete, it's the same thing. If you're able to train yourself to experience all of the range of emotions that's available to you, no matter if it's on the ice or if it's in the octagon or if it's in front of the cameras or during interviews, as long as you feel comfortable, you know, you develop that resilience to always be in touch with whatever comes at you.
Right.
Then you retain that ability to respond. in the way that will create the event that you want.
That's that what the athletes do. You seen the fights when you start the trash talk and they talk about everything, about their wife, their family. They want to get in the head of the other one.
Yeah, they want to hurt you.
Exactly.
They want to hurt you before the fight even becomes physical.
Exactly.
But the thing is, if I've already journeyed inside myself, if I've already journeyed inward, and I've already been in contact with all of the emotional weaknesses, if I may, that I have, there's nothing you can fucking tell me that's gonna make me lose my shit or lose my composure. But if before a fight I haven't trained, emotionally, and then you start pushing my buttons, then
there's people who know what strings to pull, right?
Yeah, and it's not a coincidence. It's because they know that if I can get you in an emotional state where you're not used to be in, then I've completely disturbed your whole performance. Right. And that's why they did it. And one of the best at it, and that brought it, I think, in the UFC was Conor McGregor. Yeah. Like, love him or hate him,
but he did the work.
He did that because the fight started as soon as you had signed the contract. And it was a mental and emotional fight before it was a physical one.
He make you feel like shit before even stepping in the cage. So that happened also with the people. What do you think the people we know when they have argued on the street and they start screaming and losing it and all that stuff? What kind of reaction? What the people it's hard for the people to manage the situations. I always say to my people, put two options. If you have to fight someone, right? And I give you two options. You have to fight Diego, option A. Hey, I'm going to kill you, motherfucker. I'm going to cut your head off. I'm going to... Or Diego, option B, that I'm, all right, let's fight. And I smile and don't talk. Which one you choose? Everybody say, sometimes the one that is talking, no, you're wrong. You have to choose the guy who's screaming, who's threatening you, because he's scared as fuck. He can't control himself. The other one, the guy who is not talking and is calm and smiling, maybe he went through that shit 1,000 times, so he's used to. Yeah. And he's enjoying it.
Yeah, right? If he's comfortable, basically what you're saying is he's comfortable in the conflict. And that's like the first thing that shows you that this guy's been there before. And if he's been there before, then he probably can handle himself in that type of situation. Whereas the guy that's losing his shit, well, he's not in control. He's not a master of this situation. So then, I guess that's the point you're making.
I know people who are, for example, Delta Force. Who is people who are, Delta Force are the best from the Marines, the best from the Navy SEALs, the best for the Green Berets, and people who was in the shit, who saw really, really bad things, and maybe he did bad things too, Mm-hmm. And you see them, it's the coolest people, the calmest people that you never met. They're chill, relaxed, smiling, happy, nothing to prove, all right? So that make you, I think the experience and going through hard situations make you kind of humble too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and those, and also like when you train yourself to activate that emotional intelligence to EQ versus IQ. I've talked to you about this. I said, so basically, IQ, your intellect, your intellectual capacities, I can confirm that it's 100% that, but the science says you can't enhance your IQ. You're born with it. That's the way you are. That's it. But EQ, your emotional intelligence, that's something that you can greatly improve because you will learn, like I said, to develop that relationship with yourself and all of the emotions that happen within you.
And also the connection with the people, right?
100%. So basically, the definition of emotional intelligence is it signifies your capacity to discern and understand your own emotions and to also recognize them in other people.
Empathy. Some people doesn't have it.
100%. So I think, for example, that's something that you have greatly. I don't know how you were in school, but all I can say is that you do have high skills in dealing with people. And that's basically the reason why I'm sitting here with you today is the first class that I took with you. You took such great care of me. I felt like really connected to you, which every time I'm in Miami now, I want to train with you and I don't go anywhere else, you know? But that's something I'd like to ask you actually, like, when is that something that you've realized early on that, people skills were something you were good at, or is that something that just came naturally?
I always realized since I was a kid that I had my oldest kid, Sebastian, is the same. There's always people around him, and I always been the same. They called me in the school that there was two leaders in our grade. Was Chris, that was the positive leader, and they told me that I was the negative leader.
You told that, yeah?
Because I always putting people together to go to do, I don't know, something stupid. Even if I was good in school with good grades, and the teachers loved me because I handled them, I learned that with my smile and talking and asking everybody, hey, how are you, how you feel, or whatever, I get more doors open than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they always choose me to do things, to put the people together, to organize. And my dad was pretty much like that too. And I realized that here too. When I start, I was involved with the music and crowds and people. But here, my head the click when I start training more people, right? When I used to be fighter, but I started training people more here in USA. I realized I know my shit, okay? I was doing for it, but there are people who knows even more, a lot of more than me. And I say, well, how this motherfucker who all the things that he knows has only 1 or 2 clients, and I have so many clients and everybody wants to train with me. And I see around everywhere, there are guys who are great, and they have 1, 2 clients, but the guys people know. But you go with them and they don't have the connection with the people. And there is another guys, not me, another guy who doesn't know too much, they're average, normal, and they're packed client because they get the connection, they feel it, they interact with the people much better. So you wanna go to see them because you get fun. And at the end of the day, you're gonna get fun. Right? So I think it's something very connected that with the emotions that you have and how you feel the emotions of the other people.
Yeah, 100%. So it's skills. Basically, you can have very highly intellectual skills where like you work very, very good when you're alone at your office and like when with numbers or whatever it is, but those we call them street smarts, those people skills. And at the end of the day, like, what do you want? What is it that you want? You want to be able to connect with people. You want to be part of a community. Sometimes you have to be able to be part of a community. You have to create your own community. So you have to become a resourceful person. And for sure, that's something I can say about you. You've probably always been someone that people revolve around because around you, we feel good. Right. We also feel like we can come to you with anything and you will be resourceful. And that's your ability to empathize with people.
I have an idea how many calls I have a day asking me, how can I do with this? How can I do that? Do you know everybody? My wife had a problem with my wife. My kid, we become like a psychologist, because for the connection that we have with the people. And it's good. I love it. I love it because, it helps you like a person, like a human being and like a kind of a leader of the community.
And like that's the difference. What makes you a resourceful person? So in 2024, with like AI coming and like the all-knowing Google, the problem is most people that, are not able to find the solutions and the answers within themselves is because they rely too much on external sources.
Right.
And they just probably haven't been initiated or they're unaware of the unlimited resources that they have inside. It's just you have to go in and connect. And without getting too esoteric, like that's what the work that I do is about. And that's what, becoming a high achiever or a high performer is also about, is being curious enough to always go where you're uncomfortable, to embrace change so that you can grow.
Right.
Basically, that's it. The only reason why you're able to advise somebody on something is because you have gone through it yourself in some form or another. I'm not an expert at what I do. I've spent countless hours sitting on the floor with myself, dealing with myself, Right. Especially when I stopped playing hockey and now it was like, figure out what you want to do in this world, Well, there was, the resources of going to school and taking that pre-programmed path. But as an athlete, that was not interesting for me at all. So it's just about, I sat with myself, felt myself, journeyed into myself, allowed my brain, the neuroplasticity of the brain is a fact. The brain can rewire itself. You can become a brand new person just by asking yourself different questions and having different conversations, profound conversations. And those conversations that you can have heart to heart with somebody are the most amazing experiences we can have.
Right.
But the thing is, you have to be courageous and open enough, as a person to have a heart-to-heart conversation with someone. You have to let the barriers down and the masks down, and you have to put yourself in a vulnerable position with someone in order to be surprised by what can come up. Right. That's the whole point. And it's the same thing as like putting yourself in a cage with like a trained murderer. Like, this guy wants to take your head off and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go for it. Like, you don't know what's coming at you. Like, you can watch video, you can try to know the fighter before.
But if you don't have the feeling.
Yeah. So it's the same thing, I think sports, they're just like some components of life that are just like compartmentalized. That fight is just like some aspect of life. And that fight, you will experience it in many, many aspects with different people at different times.
Learn how to fight. Learn. Okay? Be ready. Not for fighting. Because every day that you wake up in the morning and you put your feet on the floor, it's a fight. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about contact sport. I'm talking about dealing with your boss, dealing with your shop, dealing with the problems, whether with your wife, with whoever. But get that mentality of a fighter to improve everything in your life. So whenever something bad happens, you have that fighting mentality that you have to keep going and fighting until you get it.
And that mentality for me, like, I've just recently for the past 2 years, started doing martial arts and like training with you. And the reason I'm here is from everything I've learned. And it's become obvious to me that learning how to fight physically is a necessity, because it's only the manifestation of that philosophical, spiritual, emotional, and mental fight that could ever happen to me.
Right.
So like, it's a simulation. And I do firmly believe that every man should learn how to fight. Not for the physicality of it. That's cool and that's fun. Right. And like, the workout is great. By the way, I'm sore as fuck. Every time I train with you, man, like my thoracic cage, everything, my back, like I can never get this sore when I'm training with or lifting weights. But yeah, we should all learn to embrace confrontation, because I believe that it is more dangerous for our society to have men who do not learn how to fight than having men who are proficient at it, because then they have a true choice, is in responding to any situation, whether by being dangerous or by being loving. You learn how to fight, to me, I think is a doorway into being able to respond to any situation with your heart.
And last one, when you learn how to fight and you can control, you present yourself in other way.
Yeah.
I always tell to my people, if you have to go to a bad neighborhood at night, and you go to a bar and you go inside, and I remove everything that I teach you, you go inside in the same way? No. They give you a confidence. Mm-hmm. They give you a way of thinking that none other sport can give that, right? And the people feel that. The people, how you stand up, how you look at them in the eyes with that confidence, the people feel that. And that gives you the control of the situation, and having that, more than once you avoid the confrontation.
Yeah, and it gives you're more prone to de-escalating the confrontation, because you don't need it. You don't need it to prove yourself.
Right.
You can get your ass whooped by anybody if you were courageous enough to come to the KO zone and like spar with you, and like, anybody can put you on your ass. Exactly. You don't need that rush to prove yourself. You're more prone to de-escalating the situation, and like you said, I do feel much more relaxed
Exactly.
because I know a little bit more what I'm doing. Like,
Yeah.
if we'll be fighting, like, you better know more than what I know about what's gonna go down. You know. So yeah.
Well, next time we can stay talking for hours.
Yeah.
But next time I wanna talk to you, and I want you to give us some advice about meditation, breathing, how to improve our emotional
Yes.
intelligence. Right?
100%.
Thank you for coming, and guys, I hope you enjoy it. Okay, and I'm gonna put Tom information on the description, so you can contact him for information or for whatever you wanna know about the other topics we were talking before. All right, thank you, Tom.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.